Hey, everybody, and welcome to Making Miracles Happen. We are back at it again, and I'm very excited about this particular episode because we actually already filmed this episode, so much so that I got so much information that I started sending it to people. But it didn't work out just because there was an issue with the internet and it kept pausing. So we're doing this again, but I have so much to share with you guys. I have shared with people about her book, and they already started purchasing her book on Kindle. I've had people tell me how amazing her information is and how true it is. And so people, you guys haven't even seen this interview, and you guys are already excited about her, which is pretty incredible. So could you please give us your name and tell people what it is that you do?
Yeah, so my name is Mariette, Dr. Mariette Jansen, and I'm at this moment in my life, I work as a life coach, a course developer, and an author. Ta-da! So those are my two books that you are excited about, and I'm excited about it. And the books are sort of instigated by the most important person in my life, my mother. And my mother is a very particular type of person. She's not around anymore, and I'm really pleased about that, which sounds really odd to a lot of people. But my mother is a narcissist, and my mother created a very abusive, dysfunctional family. And in that family, I became the scapegoat, and everyone else, my brother, my sister, and my father, were all sort of pushed and molded in the way that she wanted it. And, you know, I've come to understand now over time that there are loads of people like her around. And I've even come to the bold statement that I believe that everyone has at least one narcissist in their lives.
Wow. And I find that fascinating because I know I asked you in the last interview, oh my God, on social media, all I see, and this is one of the reasons I just stay away from social media, because it's like a crowded amount of everybody's issues coming out, right? Nobody can hide anymore. But it's always some kind of post about narcissism and narcissist, and you have a narcissist in your family, and this is a narcissist. And I think people throw it around a little bit too much because everybody's not a narcissist. But you're telling me it's so common that it makes sense that people are going out there and listing all these things about narcissists, like we're becoming more informed. What do you think about that?
Yeah. You know, it's not the right thing to sort of point at every selfish git and you know, and say that they are a narcissist, because there is a little bit more to it than just being selfish and being self-centered and being externally focused. It's a bundle of things that they need to have. But the most important thing about a narcissist is that they're campaigning. So they're not abusive or annoying or selfish every now and again. They are continuously campaigning, and they lack empathy, and the lack of empathy makes them very cruel. So a narcissist could say this: you watch telly and there's a big tsunami somewhere, lots of people are dying and little kiddies are crying, and you're sitting there and saying, this is awful what's happening here. And a narcissist next to you would say, what are you getting on about? You don't know these people, do you? And you're like, no, I don't. No, but my empathy, you know, makes it possible for me to imagine how horrible and terrible it is. And your heart goes out to people. A narcissist doesn't do that. I would say because they don't have a heart. They have a physical heart, of course. But, you know, what is kindness and care and empathy is something that just doesn't exist in their being.
Wow. How do people know if they even have a narcissist in their life?
They will tell themselves. A narcissist is an emotional abuser. Yeah, emotional abuse can only take place if it's received. So I can throw buckets of abuse at you and you just walk around totally oblivious. It goes straight over your head. Nothing happens. If you walk around, your heart is open, the abuse comes your way and it gets in there, then it becomes abuse. Then all of a sudden, there is an interaction that's abusive and that's disadvantaging you, because you are the victim. You are on the receiving end and you really receive it. So that's a really, and I know that people look at me and say, oh God, you are saying the enabler, the victim, is the person who creates the abuse. In a way it is. And what you could do to avoid it, and that's why I'm on my mission to educate people about these type of disorders, is like, if you have awareness, then if you have knowledge, you can develop skills and you can have confidence, then you can step away from that. But you need all that. People who are empathic and who are soft and who are willing and open to others are the targets for a narcissist.
Wow. You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I have a family member who's a narcissist. And it was, you have two different family members. You have me that says, I'm not going to deal with it. I will rather leave the situation and not have to deal with it at all. And the behavior changes immediately because they don't want me out of their life. And so they're better longer. That's the only way I can put it. But the other person who you know, allows them to get away with whatever they want to get away with, they don't change for that person at all. And so it's always amazing to me how, you know, they'll latch on to the person they can suck the most from.
Well, think of this. They want to play tennis. Yeah. They play the ball over the net to the other side, and they want the other side to bring the ball back. And when the ball is back at their side, they can whack it, they can smash it, they can make the other person run, who tries to keep the game going at their own detriment. And the narcissist is standing there doing all this. And, you know, if you play the game, they are happy. If you don't play the game, there's nothing to be gained for them.
So it's a two-person situation. It really does sound like it's a two-person situation. If a person doesn't allow them to do it, they have less fuel. They have to find somebody else. And if that person didn't allow them to, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
What are some traits?
In order to not play the game, you have to understand that you are playing the game, or that there is a game being played. And the way you can discover that is really to feel inside. A narcissist will make you uncomfortable. They will make you walk on eggshells. They will make you nervous about what you're saying because they're so critical of you. They are always right, and they will always stand up, you know, they're the big boo, 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 boo. And you're the tiny, weeny, whatever you are. And sort of that is what is going on. And that is what you can feel inside. If they get at you, you feel it.
See, you don't hear that a lot. Whenever I hear about narcissism and you talk to people who specialize in helping people in this situation, you know, I don't ever hear them say you're going to feel it. And that's really interesting. It's like feel into yourself. And you can
give a description. You can give a description of a narcissist. This is how they behave. This is what they do. This is But then the next step is whatever they do, they create. Together with their target, they create the abuse. So they do this first step, the other party enables it. Yeah. And if you are the enabler, you will feel it because your narcissist will eat away your confidence, your happiness, your joy, your spontaneity. That is all going, and that's going to be replaced by fear. And if you're nervous around someone, it's really worthwhile to have a look deeper, look further. What is it about our connection that makes me fearful, that makes me nervous?
Yeah. The last time we did this interview, it was really interesting because I was like, you know, I never really, because I haven't been around, my mom and dad split up when I was 10. So I've never really had to think too much about my dad being a narcissist, but there was some stuff you mentioned where I was like, maybe, but there was a couple of things that you did mention on how, you know, how narcissists behave. Can you name like 3 different things of the ways that narcissists behave so people can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at?
Well, there are this is where this book comes in. Yeah, there are 63
can you show it again? I don't see it on the whole camera. Pull it over. There we go. Rule book of a narcissist.
Yeah.
Narcissism self-help guide. Yes.
There are 63 typical narcissistic rules. Okay. And one of them is, if it makes you happy, target, victim, if it makes you happy, I will spoil it for you. And they've got different ways of doing that. Yeah. Another rule of them, and they go nicely together, is I make people wait for me. Because if people are waiting for me, then they're all thinking like, oh, what's going on with the narcissist? Oh, I hope everything is all right. So there's a lot of emotional and mental attention coming their way. And then they arrive and everyone is, oh, there you are. There's lots of attention in that moment. They create that situation. And I know from someone who told me once she got to know a little bit more about narcissism, she said, oh my goodness, my mother-in-law was a narcissist. She made me wait at my own wedding because she hadn't arrived yet. So there was the bride, there was the groom, everyone was there, apart from the mother of the groom, just came 10 minutes late. And you just think like, whoa, that's a nice one. Yeah. So that is anything to spoil it for their target. Yeah, that is really important. Also, a narcissist is always right. So if you want to find out if this particular person, you don't feel too comfortable, you say something isn't right, but you don't know what it is, just go against them in your opinion or challenge them on their opinion, and just say like, I think you get it totally wrong, and observe their reaction, because a narcissist will have an over-the-top reaction about that. They feel that as a personal attack. They feel that like, oh my goodness, as a little crack in their competence and their perfect picture to the outside world. And they can't handle that. So they will really, really defend their opinion and what they did. They can't handle any criticism. So that's another one that's typical narcissistic. I had that example of where they say, oh, well, I don't care. You don't know these people. Why would you care? Yeah, which is a really a bold sort of statement. Also, they want to control you. They want to take control wherever they can, or they will criticize you. They will want to know a lot of stuff about you. What time are you going to be home? Where are you going? Why are you, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, it's none of your business, really.
So many people. You know, here's a question I didn't ask you before that you guys, I'm so curious myself. I ask her questions you guys are going to want to know, but I need to ask other questions that I want to know. I'm curious, how would one deal with like a narcissistic client if they realize that they have one and they didn't realize it before?
Keep yourself safe. If you say client, what type of profession are we talking about?
Any kind, coaching, healing work.
It's highly unlikely that as a coach or as a healer, you will have a narcissist as a client, because a narcissist is perfect, doesn't need any adaptation, doesn't need help from others.
I've had
so that's unlikely.
Client before, and the guys that they come under is that somebody recommended it and they want to do what this other person is doing, and they want just to improve things. They just want to know how to improve things. There's not really anything they need to fix in their life, and then you find out everything's broken. They just want to improve things. I had to get rid of my narcissistic client. I'm actually wondering if you can work with them.
Okay. I've spoken with a few. I can't have them as a client because there's no connection. I can't connect with their emotions.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've with my clients on an emotional level, and they don't understand what I'm talking about. So it's quite quickly clear that we can't work. A narcissist is like, I've had one, and he came with he requested sessions. Because his marriage wasn't good, and he wanted to fix the marriage because he didn't want to lose his wife. He didn't love her, or he didn't want to have a good relationship, but he wanted to save the marriage for the outside world because it would look good on him if he got divorced. Yeah, so So that's why they don't connect with me at all. And it's sort of, I could not work with them. But say if you're in a different type of work, so if you are a graphic designer or something, and your client says, make me a website. Yeah, and you will then notice that they always know better. So they will never accept at first what you are doing. They will be confusing, because they will say to you, that headline is not the way I want it. And you will say, yeah, but we discussed this, and this is exactly how you said this to me. Oh, no, it's not how I want it. They make you do things more than God knows how many times, just because they want you working for them. And they are confusing all the time. They make you nervous. I mean, normally when a client comes, say you're a designer, graphic designer, you make a website, you're excited. You think, I want to show my client, I'm so happy with it, and hope that they're happy with it. If you have a client and you think, I'm scared to show it to them because it's never right, whatever I have taken on board from them, but it's never right. It can never be right. And they always undermine you. Just say no to that client. They will take up a lot of your time and a lot of your energy, and they won't do anything for your confidence and your joy.
Wow. See, this is like the most interesting stuff. So as I did the last interview with you and learned so much, I was sharing it with people who we kind of just had like that feeling that one of their family members was a narcissist. And so after talking to you, I'm like, oh, you guys got to get this book. And the realizations that they made are just like so powerful. They're actually happier now because they feel like they have more fuel. They have more information to deal with this situation. And I haven't read the book yet because this was recently, but they have, and they're like sharing these things with me about how amazing this book is. And so what it feels like, because I definitely want to tune into this book, but what it feels like is that knowledge is your power when it comes to a narcissist. Is this correct?
Yeah. And what is really challenging, their target, so the target for the narcissist, the target to become their victim is usually someone who is very empathic. Now, someone who is empathic has values like really being interested in other people, being caring, being forgiving, being kind, giving people another chance, really trying to understand them, that sort of things. And those values are totally opposite the values of a narcissist, because they do dishonesty, they're disloyal, they don't care, it's all about them, it's not about other people. So that is always clashing. It will always clash, because the value systems that the two of you have will never nicely blend in, but the values of the empathetic person will always make them vulnerable towards a narcissist and open them for narcissistic abuse. So it's almost a compliment if you are targeted by a narcissist. It will say that, it will show from that angle that you are a real empath. However, it doesn't serve you in those circumstances. It's really harming you. And if you want to keep yourself safe from that abuse, often you have to violate your own values. If honesty and openness is something that you really embrace, you can't put that in the relationship with your narcissist, because they will abuse that. It will kill you off. And that's another thing where the discomfort comes from. It's like it doesn't feel right, because on that deeper level, and lots of people are not even aware of what all their values are. But if you have to violate your values, you feel a real discomfort and a real unhappiness.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. I think that's a lot of clarity as far as another way that we can measure if we're around a narcissist or not. That's you put all those together and you're just kind of like, why was I ever around this person in the first place? Because it becomes very clear the kind of person that you're dealing with.
You were with this person in the first place is maybe because empathic natures are tending to rescue people and helping others. Yeah, so there might be a signal there that would sort of be, oh, this person, I can make this person see what real happiness is. I can help this person to sort of, become lighter in themselves. That's a sort of an attraction for an empath. And if people are regular people, it might work really well. But if people are out to target you, it doesn't work.
Who can stay in a narcissistic relationship for like 10, 15 years? Like what kind of person can, like, I couldn't imagine that. Like I couldn't do it. Like I literally could not do it.
People stay because their children evolved. And they think I'm going to lose my children if I leave my narcissist. Yeah. They stay because of financial commitments or, dependency. There is this element of codependency. If you're in a narcissistic relationship, it's like, have you heard of the boiled frog syndrome? Have you heard of that?
If you slowly turn the fire up.
Yeah. So a victim of narcissistic abuse is like the boiled frog. They don't know how hot the water is until they're nearly fried. Yeah. When they're nearly fried, their confidence is gone. Their sense of self is gone. Their social relations are gone, because that's what a narcissist is doing as well. They will make sure that they alienate you from family and friends. So their target, their victim, becomes really by themselves and really lonely. Also, if you're a victim and you talk to someone else about it, they might not believe you, because a narcissist has this they know how to present themselves to the world. They can be the life and soul of the party. They're generous with money. They come across as absolute, the fabulous, most fabulous person you can imagine. If then someone talks to you about that fabulous person and says, well, he's controlling, he doesn't give me money, he's always putting me down, he's abusing me in all sorts of ways. And then they look at you and say, like, that man, I can't believe it. No, I can't believe it. So that's where the loneliness comes in as well, because other people find it hard to imagine that that is happening. So when you are lonely, you don't have confidence, you've lost your sense of self, then it's really, really difficult to find courage in whatever way and step out of that.
Makes sense.
So that's why people get stuck in there and find it really, really hard.
Is there any information in your book about people who feel like they're stuck? There's financial commitments, or they're terrified of losing their children. Do you learn how to deal with that relationship? Do you learn how to leave the relationship? Is there something for them?
Yeah, the most important thing in the relationship, if we talk about this type of relationship, a romantic relationship, and you feel stuck, is learning how to keep yourself safe and sane. And that's learning to communicate differently. It's also learning to, it's called becoming a gray rock. So you're like a slippery rock, and everything that's being thrown at you is just slippering down. It doesn't come into your heart anymore. Yeah. And if you reach that point, it is healthier for you, because you don't spend all your energy on your narcissist, trying to understand, trying to please, trying to make it better. You just know it's not going to be ever good, but I can, hold on to myself, and I can, behind the scenes, develop myself in a certain way, getting my confidence back. Maybe get to Facebook groups, get to other groups where you find like-minded people to sort of support you. And it's safe. You can just do that on your phone. No one else needs to know. Where if you start writing things and having documents around and receiving letters and things like that, that makes you more vulnerable again.
Are narcissists dangerous?
Yeah. Their lack of empathy makes them cruel. It doesn't make them understand. They just don't understand how emotions work. They don't understand how being upset works. They don't understand bereavements. I mean, an example in my family is we had a family dog for 14 years. The dog was one morning in his basket and, you know, he wasn't around anymore. So I had to go to school. I was really upset because it's a big thing. And I came home that afternoon and there was a puppy in the same basket, because there was no need to buy another basket because the puppy would grow. But there was a new dog in that house within hours. I mean, literally the same day. So in that day, they had found a dog. They had got it to the house. They picked it up or whatever you need to do. And the dog was there. It's just.
So no time to grieve at all.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
But those are all, you know, spin-offs of how they are in the world and how they are with other people.
Yeah. Wow. This is so much good information that you have to share.
Yeah.
If anybody is confused, there's so much clarity. What do you have as a gift for people today?
You've got a list with the 10 questions, yeah?
Yeah.
So people can sort of go through that and realize what is going on there. I have a free ebook on narcissism. So I think I need to send a link to you. I don't know if you have the link, but that's there for you. And also, if you want to talk to me, you can just book a free 45-minute coaching session. And I can give you validation or not, or, you know, we can talk about your situation. Some things that you could do to, you know, to get improvement straight away. That's there.
Yeah, you sent me this list that people are going to get as this free gift, and it's a list of 10 questions. And so some of my clients, I'm like, oh, let me read to you these questions. Let's just see how this works out. And I'll read these questions, and they like have 7 out of 10, and I think one person had 10 out of 10. And it was really, I was like, just go get a book. Just there's nothing else that needs to be discussed. Just go pick up a book. Because it's so informative. It actually forces you to look at yourself and your own emotions, how you're feeling in a situation, and now you can read it. Now you can figure it out. That's fascinating. It's clarity.
It gives clarity, isn't it? And it's also what when people are subjected to abuse, what they do, it's called cognitive dissonance. So there's something happening, and in your head you think, oh, that's not right. But it's uncomfortable to think it's not right.
Yes.
Yeah. So then there's another system going that says, oh, well, and that's where an excuse comes in, or a reason. So, oh, but it's only when he's stressed, or it's actually not important to me. I don't care, really. So what is really going on is snowed under another sort of thought that let the discomfort go away, because we don't want discomfort. But discomfort is your signal that something is wrong. Yeah. But however, if you've numbed that discomfort by using cognitive dissonance, then you're so used to it, so you don't feel it anymore. And you're so used to sort of pushing things away, like, well, walking on eggshells. Well, I'm used to it anyway. Well, I'm really good at it. Oh, they don't get to me, I think. But actually, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you guys, if you don't get anything else out of this, it's the power of knowing who you're dealing with and how they're making you feel. Because what I think I loved about, even in the last interview where I was asking you about narcissism, you're like, it doesn't matter if they're a narcissist or not if you feel uncomfortable around them. You know, if you're feeling this and this, that's enough. That's enough.
You see, I don't like labels.
Yeah.
And I don't like labels, because a label is like, oh, then we can tick the box and then we know exactly what it is. It doesn't work like that. It's that interaction between two people that actually create what is going on. And if you're not comfortable with it, that's all that matters. That's what is important. And it doesn't matter if they then tick 10 out of 10 of my questions, or 7 out of 10, or 3 out of 10. But if the 3 make you so uncomfortable with this person, and maybe even with yourself, then that's a signal that it's not right. And why would you keep up with something that's not right for you?
I love the way you think. I love the way you put that. I had a coach, had a guest speaker on herself for one of our classes. And he said something that was so profound to me that it stuck with me this whole entire time, which is when you misdiagnose people, you mistreat them. So is there really, is there, you know, the whole label thing is like everybody's trying to label everybody something. Like you have issues and you have this issue and this, you have this issue. But when you're really just looking at this is how I feel and I don't want to be around this, you don't have to try to figure all that out. You don't have to diagnose people. You can simply just say, how I feel is enough.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone could live like that? Because you're not pointing at other people. You're not saying you did this wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong. You're just saying, it doesn't feel right for me. I'm not even judging you, but it doesn't feel right for me. So I'll remove myself from the scene, or I will treat you in a way that creates a bit of a distance between us, and that keeps me safe.
Yeah. And that feeling like you have to diagnose people and see what's wrong with them almost makes me feel like, isn't that like narcissism? Like I have to see everything you're doing wrong. Like it's so uncomfortable, but I like that I can focus on me.
But it gives people a false sense of security, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a different type of knowledge. And I think the knowledge that is really valuable is the knowledge that comes from inside. Mm-hmm. You've got it all. Everyone's got it all. But we've got so much noise on the line that it's sometimes very difficult to read what is really going on for you. If everyone could live from their heart and say, this is, and from their values and say, this is how I want to live my life, then it would be much easier, much clearer, you know. And yes, there are people who can't do that. It's fine. And then you just leave them on the side. You don't have to engage with them. Hopefully.
I have a few questions. I don't remember if I asked you this before or not, but I'm fascinated to see what your take is on this. Does a narcissist know that they're a narcissist?
Some do, and they don't care. Yeah, most people would be upset if someone said, I think that you're a narcissist. And I would be in shock, and I would say, oh gosh, what am I doing here? That sort of, you know, makes you think that. A narcissist will think, yeah, well, so what?
I've seen that before. Like I've seen that behavior. So it's so shocking to hear you say that, because I'm just like, wow, that brings enlightenment to this situation. There's light in that darkness. And then the other thing is, like, if a narcissist knows that they're a narcissist and they know what traits that they have, can they hide?
But they don't see their traits as something that's wrong. Because, come on, they are the center of the universe, yeah? And they want to be the center of your universe. So they just work towards that. They never let the truth get in the way of their greatness. Yeah, so they manipulate and they lie, and they don't think anything of it. It's fine, it's second nature. It's almost like that is their survival. And I think it's fine. Lack of empathy and emotional awareness. What are you talking about? I don't know what empathy is. I don't know what emotional awareness is. I don't do bereavements. I do being upset if someone is really not seeing my greatness and not sort of seeing how fantastic I am. I don't like that. So then I punish them. I'll get back at them, because everything is about winning, and I'm the winner. And everyone else is the loser. I'll make them lose.
Yeah. I I had a very interesting short-term, 2.5 month relationship with somebody I felt like was a narcissist. And I just kept like, you kind of question yourself, like, is that a narcissistic, what is that? What's wrong with you? Like, what do you, it was, there was always this confusion. And I kept thinking to myself, I think this person is a narcissist. I think this, and I kept just saying that to myself over, and I was like, fine, I got to say something, like at this point, because I even shared with him, I'm miserable when I'm around you. I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm happy. And it was like, it doesn't matter how I feel. It matters how you feel. That's interesting. So one day, right when we were towards the end, where I was like, I just have to figure this out because it's driving me crazy. And I said, I think you're a narcissist. I mean, it's clear, it's 100% clear to me you're a narcissist. And he goes, oh yeah, I was diagnosed as a narcissist. And he was like, but I don't really think that I am. And I said, I know you are. And he was like, do you really think so? It was like interesting to him to talk about because we were talking about him.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I don't do narcissists. I can't, I'm done. It was that simple. But the reaction is shocking. Oh yeah, I was diagnosed as that. I just don't think I have it. You think so? Really? Like, oh wow, you think I'm a narcissist? Cool.
Well, lucky you to be out quite soon. Yeah. Yeah,
it's fascinating stuff. It was fascinating. Like that was a fascinating journey, and I couldn't have dealt with it more than 2.5 months. So I learned what I could in that situation.
And that's on you.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that it didn't take too long.
I can't stand to be around them. I honestly am one of those people who can just pick up on it, and I'm just like, nah, I never reach out to that person again. I don't want those kind of clients. I don't want those kind of people. I don't need those kind of friends. Like, I just can't do it. I honestly just can't. It's so overwhelming, and it takes up your life.
Well, when I talk to my clients and I say to them, how much of your mental space is being taken up by your narcissist? 95%. It's all about them. And I've got this metaphor when I say they come in through your heart, soft tissue, yeah, and then they crawl up inside and they go into your head. They're like an octopus in your head, and they slurp your head empty and they put their toxins in. And that's how it is. You're in those tentacles. You have that there are toxins in your head, in your thinking, in your system. They're real predators. It's just,
I'm so glad you came on to share this information. That's a new way of looking at something. And everybody out there, how you feel is good enough. How you feel about it is good enough. And if you want to know more about narcissism, you should go pick up her book. Can you show us both of your books again, one at a time?
Yeah.
Just so people can go pick them up. Because people are already getting value from the books. I mean, it's From Victim to Victor.
From Victim to Victor. And Rule Book of a Narcissist.
Rule Book of a Narcissist. So many people out there could use this, probably everybody, because you believe that each and every person has a narcissist in their life. And if every narcissist could touch 100 people, absolutely, it'd be very easy to get one narcissist in our life. And some people attract narcissists. They just attract them.
And
they have more than one.
Do attract them, yeah. So for those people, it's even more important to really, really recognize it. Because naturally, they're also sort of attracted to what the narcissist is showing them, yeah? But as I said earlier, it's sort of that wanting to rescue, give them a second chance, being the sort of the kind and caring person that an empath is. It's good to have that project and aim to make someone else feel better. That's like a natural thing for the empath. But it's not good if you sort of project that onto a narcissist.
No, not at all. Thank you again for this marvelous interview. You guys go check her out. All you have to do is scroll down below this interview for the next 72 hours, and you can click on that free gift. You can go get her books because you're going to want to read these, believe me. And you're also going to get that questionnaire to ask yourself about somebody in your life and get some clarity around that. Because I'm telling you, the 10 questions are fascinating. They are good. They like things that people truly can use that has value in it, because you have this aha moment. So go get your aha moment now. Go check out the books, and I'll see you next time on Making Miracles Happen. Thank you for being part of the miracle. Bye.